And good evening, everybody. This is the Old Soldier coming back at you from Robeson County, North Carolina, live. Not Memorex for those commercials, but anyhow, anyway. Let's see who pops up before we get into our poetry reading. But nothing want to work right tonight. Oh. Let's do that. Takes care of that. Battery's about to die. So, Jamie, how are you, my friend? Glad to have you with us this evening, sir. Yeah, I started a few minutes early. How's the weather in Rome? Hello, Mr. Woodworker. I am feeling somewhat better, yes, sir. Got over that mess at whatever it was, so I actually got out and was able to get 2 miles in with the dog today. I think he's more tuckered out than I am now. Glad to hear it, Jamie. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out this how you advertise a live video so everybody gets reminded and then transition right into the live stream. And the YouTube tutorial I watched today wasn't quite conducive to that. I need to change lighting sources right quick, so stand by to stand by. Is that better? I don't look like Casper the Friendly Ghost anymore, do I? That other light bright as all get out. Let's see if I can get that set right. Yeah, there we go. Honestly, Mr. Woodworker, I have no idea. I'm still trying to learn this YouTube live chat stuff. But sooner or later, I'll eventually get there. I'm going to have to pick Jamie's brain up here because he does this every Friday night on his with the Reloaders Network. But it says here we got 3 in the studio. So I'm counting 2 in the side chat. So if anybody else is out there, put a comment over in the side chat for us. Let us know you're here. But yeah, we're going to read 2 poems tonight. Really, one of them's a prayer. And then that'll be followed by a poem. And then we'll talk a little bit. So, anyhow, anyway. But I hope everybody's doing well this evening. Somebody's lurking, that's right. They must think it's Halloween already. But one of the things we want to talk about tonight after we have our readings about Master Sergeant Mark Allen passed away. Matter of fact, the service is not going to be too terribly far from you, Jamie. But he was the sergeant that, when he went out looking for that traitor, Bo Bergdahl, got shot in the head. We're going to remember him tonight. I sure did, Mr. Woodworker. Talking about the one that says, anywho, anyhow, anyway. They're available on my Teespring site. Matter of fact, I ordered some samples today, so when they come in, I'll have to show them off on a live video. But you can get these right here, the Old Soldier as well. It says Old Soldier approved. If anybody wants to buy one. I don't know if that's showing up real good or not, but anyhow, anyway, today, much gooder. Show what a gooder. But anywho, I think the weather here is supposed to start cooling off tomorrow-ish. We had a heck of a thunderbuster roll through here last night, though. Thought we were going to get up and have to go swimming. But we survived it. Got through the storm. Trying to see who else is out there lurking around. Right now, there's just only 3. But I did get started a little early. So we'll see who chimes in here in a minute. But yeah, it kind of broke my heart when I saw that in the news when the Master Sergeant passed away. Feel for his family and his children. All because of one young man's disillusionment with what he truly had here. I am formally edge every day. Okay. Edge every day. Got it. I'll have to remember that, sir. Anyway, trying to see who else might join us before we start. But like I said, we got a couple we're going to read tonight. But yeah, when like I said, heard the news about Master Sergeant Allen passing, he said it broke my heart. It was, sustained a major and traumatic head wound that it changed his life and his family's life forever. There's one article I was listening, or one newscast I was listening to, that after his injury, and then when he finally got home after the Army medically retired him, was that if they went anywhere, he would take the wife just in the morning, 90 minutes alone in the morning to get him bathed and washed and prepped. And it's just heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Okay, got you, woodworker. I checked it out. But, well, with the 4 of us that are here, I'm going to start this one off. And it's the prayer for the fallen warrior. And this goes out to the memory of Master Sergeant Mark Allen. Passed away this week. I think it was yesterday, I do believe, when it came through that he had passed. But if you'll just bow their head, please. Father, we humble ourselves before you this day. May we exalt your name always and give you thanks for the blessings you give us each day. But today, Father, we ask for your grace to shine upon those whose life has been given in sacrifice so that we may live free in this nation. Into your arms we place these souls. We ask for thy love to shine upon them. Remove the horrors of war from their thought. We give them unto you, Father. We lay them in this hallowed ground. Here may they sleep in eternal rest. To you we commend their souls. Father, we also pray you may grant strength to the wife or husband who now sits home alone, the memory of their spouse now gone. For the mother and father at the picture they gaze of a son or a daughter upon the mantle placed, side the nation's flag folded, the picture placed. And Father, grant this grace for the child at the doorway who stands and waits, looks up and asks, when is mommy or daddy coming home? Too young to understand, grant them when they are older to know this sacrifice was for them. We ask this prayer in the sweet Savior's name, our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Hello, Mr. Homestead. Glad to have you with us. The next one that I want to read is Who Paid for My Freedom? And again, in the memory of Master Sergeant Mark Allen. Who paid for my freedom? Said the child to the father. Well, my child, let us see. Police officers do every day, and firemen too. Me and your mother as well, also. But let us go and see. Friends of mine, you see, not far from here, in a place of peace. Here, my child, under these stones, lay brave men and women who have given their souls. Given, you see, for you and for me, that freedom would be enjoyed by all to see. Here they lay in eternal rest, under marble stones, here in final rest. They gave their lives that ours were spared, scars they bared that no others could see. This they did, a sacrifice made, all their tomorrows gone in a moment. That your today, your tomorrow might be bright, lacking in sorrow. The sacred ground, here where we stand. Look at those, my child, who paid for our freedom. May we go now, said the child to the father. These brave souls can peacefully slumber. No, it's not Veterans Day. It's not Memorial Day, but there are those that this very moment, this very hour, that would stand between us and those that would do us harm. Pray for those young men and women each and every day. Both those in our local law enforcement, emergency services, and our active military. But it broke my heart, like I said, when I saw the news today that this Master Sergeant had passed, and the circumstances of which put him in the situation, because a coward chose to desert his post because he was fed up with whatever. There was many others that went looking, that had to go out and looking for this young man, that were killed outright. Master Sergeant Allen was wounded, but it was a debilitating wound, one that would change the course of his life forever. So I just wanted to pray for him and his family tonight and honor them. So anyhow, anyway, if you're still out there, sound off in the side chat. Tell me what you think, what's on your mind. Because, folks, if you believe in our freedoms, we need to start pounding our politicians each and every day, because they are doing everything within their power to take away every liberty and every right that we've got. And if you don't think so, just look at all the legislation they're trying to pass every day to either restrict, ban, make it almost impossible just to purchase a firearm to protect our rights. So, for what it's worth. But what do you think, folks? Let me know. Say something over in the side chat. Nobody's talking. Interesting. Mission Barbecue. USO Cup. But let's see who else we had out here. We had the Board Woodworker. We had JH586 and RG Homestead. I'd like to give a special shout out, and I would ask all my viewers to go check out this channel, Patriot Farms. It's a mother, Army veteran, and an Army wife. And from what I've read on the profile of her page, currently her husband is deployed. So if you can, remember them in your thoughts and prayers as well. It's never easy, especially this time of year when we're getting close to the holidays. You know, we got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas coming up, and it's never easy when you got a loved one that's deployed out of country. Yes, sir. Appreciate that, Jamie. And no, you're absolutely right. Freedom isn't free. It's paid for at a cost each and every day. And sadly, so many people have taken that for granted these days. The number of people that have died just so that others can stay free. Not only in our nation, that's the thing too. People don't realize, like, you know, a case example. I was asked the other day, what did I think about the president's decision to pull troops out of Syria? This is one of the few times I have to say that I didn't agree with the president. And the reason behind it is we've just left a group of people there that had helped us, kind of like, all right, thanks for your help. Bye, I got to go now. And we're repeating what we did during the Vietnam War with the Montagnards. We kind of said, thanks for helping us out, you know, but we got to go. Bye. And just, you know, it's sad to say, but I'm afraid we'll eventually be back in that region of the world within the next 10 or 15 years if we completely pull out. And when we go back over, we won't get the same level of cooperation, if any cooperation, out of the Kurdish people. But it's still early to tell. Hopefully the president will at least keep some nearby to help him, but pulling completely out and letting Turkey go and do what they're doing, that's some bad business. What are we having, Jamie, so I can come over and eat? Because my Mrs. Old Soldier made me pork chop and pinto beans and homemade corn muffins. But if it beats that, I'll be over in about an hour or two to eat with you. Mickey D's. Well, I guess that's one way of having supper, but hey, gotta eat, right? Gotta eat. But no, I just, like I said, my heart goes out to this family. And Jamie, just so you know, the services are going to be in Loganville, Georgia. I don't know how that far. I think that's southeast of you, on the other side of Atlanta. And I think they're saying the 18th is when the services are going to be. If I could get away from work, I'd go. Hey, Greg, how are you, my friend? Glad to have you with us this evening. We were just remembering Master Sergeant Mark Allen, who passed away, talking about the sacrifices of many for our freedom. For those who don't know, Greg is a veteran. If you're a veteran, sound up in the side chat what your MOS was. I'd like to know. I've had several. I started off in the Army as a 31 November. And then when I went to National Guard for 2 years, 31 Kilo to uniform, to when I went back on active duty as a 13 Bravo. Was qualified as a 79 Romeo in the sense that I was a detailed recruiter. If I'd have chose to convert, all I'd done was gone to the station commander's course. But so this is what I did. But yeah, if you were in the service, sound off in the side chat. Just tell us what your MOS was. So Greg, you were in 11 Boogaloo. Okay. Harmony Church or Sand Hill? I think my best friend was, I think he was at Harmony Church. There at Fort in the Beginning, as they like to call it. I was only there for jump school, so school where you learn how to temporarily defy gravity. The Rock in West Germany, third ID. Okay, I was down in Ansbach in Bavaria. 1st Armored Division. Clickety clank, I was with the tanks. But I wasn't a DAT. If you know what a DAT was, I wasn't one of those. I was just a communicator then for the DATs. If you don't know what a DAT is, folks, in the Army, that's terminology for a dumb blank tanker. They get a little upset when you call them that. Go figure. Riding around steel coffins all day. It wasn't my cup of tea. There you go. But yeah, 1st Armored Division was cool when I was there, except for Hohensfeld. Hohensfeld sucked. I don't like Hohensfeld. All that lime dust you breathed in when you're driving around that place. We'd drive around the Hohensfeld and all that lime dust flying around all over the place. Ugh, make you cough for days on end. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So, listening to the news last week, Mr. Beto O'Rourke made his comment about how churches should lose their tax-exempt status. Yeah, Graf wasn't great either. It'd get cold and wet there. Ugh. But Beto O'Rourke made the comment that churches, Christian churches, ought to be, or well, if he becomes president, will lose their tax-exempt status if they fail or do not perform same-sex marriages. Last time I checked, that's a big no-no in the Constitution. Government ain't supposed to say what churches are supposed to do and vice versa. Yeah, oh yeah. Graphic beer was always damp. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, Beto O'Rourke and his delusional world, I guess, is the best way to. Yeah, he's a fruitcake. That's a nice way and polite way of putting it, Greg. I'll give you that. But that one kind of caught me this week because it'll be the same crowd that will welcome other religions into this country and allow them to rule their communities by their laws and values and not say a word. And well, Islam. For the true and devout Muslim, homosexuality is, it ain't but one way to deal with that sin. But yet, Christians, because they won't perform a same-sex marriage, okay, well, we're taking away your tax-exempt status. You know what? That's fine. Honestly, if they want to tax churches, so be it. Jesus said, give unto Caesar's what's Caesar's, and give unto God what's God's. So, but anyway. And then other news and legislation going around the nation. Some of these, like Congress wasting all the money trying to impeach the president. Today in the news, we saw where the former vice president's son has resigned from his position from the company he works with in China Nothing to see here, folks. I'm just resigning in case my dad's made, elected president. So there's no blah 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 blah. But didn't see you resigning when he was the actual vice president, and you were using his influence to broker deals. Thought that was a big no-no too. But hey, what I know. But I don't know how many of y'all get on Instagram, but I noticed where the military arms channel Instagram account was just deleted. Instagram said no more, bloop, gone by. And thought to myself, But then again, Instagram is a private entity. So I guess they can choose to do what and how they wish to do it in a sense. But all the other mess they allowed to post, and because this guy posts, military style weapons on his channel and on his Instagram account, that's a reason to just up and delete him. So yeah, still not sure what's going on there. What next? Yeah, Tim really does, and it's more historical than it is anything else. He really goes over the features of those weapons in pretty good detail, I think, and shows you how they work. And he does some modern firearms too. But I like his channel too. He's got some good stuff on there. Yeah, I agree with you too about young Biden being guilty. Yeah. I think right now, I think he's a little better at it than I am, Greg. But but no, back to the young Mr. Biden. Honestly, I think right now that whole side of things is they're in a major reaction mode, because now that was the other thing I was listening to the news today. What's that dipstick's name? Schiff craphead. Oh my god, I've caught a brain cramp today. But anyway, he's basically trying to call for a behind the a closed door impeachment now instead of transparency, stating that now the whistleblower may not need to testify, and that now his story changes too, because first he said, I never actually talked to the whistleblower. But now it's coming up, well, I did talk to the whistleblower. But so Adam Schiff, I think his name is, and I think there was a Republican that was on the Senate or on the House Judiciary Committee, was asked to leave the proceedings. They didn't want him in there. Thought that was rather sketchy. So there's a lot of stuff going on that's just scary as all get out. And why did I bring this up after reading our poems and everything tonight? Because there's a lot of potential threats to our rights that is going on. Yeah, you're right. Schiff might even be the second whistleblower himself, with whatever he's made up in his head to claim, is the best way to put it. But anyway, I guess. But I don't know. It's just, I would say, folks, keep your ears to the ground, pay attention to what's going on, and just keep a close hold to what you've got right now. At the rate things are going, who knows what might come out of this whole investigation, trumped up or otherwise. No pun intended on the president's name, but I think a lot of things that they're going to try and hit him with are going to be trumped up, made up, distortions of the truth, if you will. And all because he is shaking up their comfort zone in their world. Oh, that was the other thing too today. Did you see in the news today? Forget what state it was in, but it was a Dollar General that got held up, and the clerk shot the robber Shot him dead as a doornail. And the family is upset at the clerk for defending himself, trying to say that the clerk shouldn't have had a gun in the store. That what business did the clerk have with a gun? That the clerk ought to call the police. That uh, so our brother was in there holding the place up. Oh well, you don't get to take matters in your own hands. Yeah, our brother was doing wrong, and he's partly, But and I thought to myself, my goodness, where does this mentality come from? Where does anyone get off with that kind of mentality of, man goes in the store and pulls a gun and holding the place up, and someone pulls one back and defends themselves? You have, folks, if you don't know it, you have an inherent right to defend your life. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'd rather be tried by a jury of 12 than carried by peers of 6. But to be upset because somebody defended their lives when somebody was threatening their lives, circumstances, and it also has come out too. The store clerk, was a legal gun owner. He possessed that gun legally. Now he might have violated Dollar General store policy. That'll probably come out in the news later on. He may live in an area where the franchise owner said it was all right for him to. Who knows? Either way it goes, the clerk defended himself and his customers, because when seconds matter, the police are minutes to hours away. Remember that, folks. When seconds matter, police are minutes to hours away. Don't forget that. Yeah, I feel for this family because they've lost a brother. It's sad. Truly is sad. But honestly, it didn't have to end that way. Why? How? Dipstick shouldn't have gone there and pointed a gun at somebody, because you never know who's going to pull one back at you and shoot you. So in those regards, you play stupid games, you win deadly prizes. Exactly, Greg. Exactly. Now, the sad part is that clerk's going to have to live with taking that life the rest of his life. Even though he defended himself and others, some people, even when they do the right thing, it still weighs on their conscience that they took another human's life. That's not a burden I wish on anybody, but it does happen. But for the family to come out like they did, that's not the first time I've heard of that. I think it was a few years back when a group of teenagers broke into a person's home, and hello, Mr. Rabbi Jesus, how are you, my friend? Yeah, Jamie. But again, that I think it was a few years back. Oh, was it Ohio, or I forget the state? But a boy and his friends broke into a house, and the boy was shot and killed. And the family was saying, well, he had to get his so he could get his new school clothes by breaking into somebody's house and trying to rob them. I don't buy that for a plug nickel, nor twice on Sunday. You break into my house in the middle of the night, I don't know who you are, and you're threatening me, you're going to meet the business end of a 12-gauge shotgun. That's just my thoughts on it. Other people, they might come at them with an AR platform. Hello, GM Survival. Good to have you with us this evening. Yeah, Rabbi, you kind of hit the nail on the head there too. They've been brainwashed into believing that they can, if it's not given to them, they can take what they want, kind of by mentality. Not that I agree with that, but that's what happens sometimes. It's a good way of putting it, Greg. And again, it's sad that these things happen, but at the end of the day, I have a God-given right to protect my life. And there's nothing that anybody or anyone can say to change my mind about that one. And I think it goes without saying that this individual in question, Kingpin, good to have you with us tonight. That we all have that right. Now, how some of us choose to defend ourselves versus others, and what the case is. The other thing too is, in North Carolina, I know when I took my concealed carry class here, one of the big things was you use the necessary force to stop the threat. Anything above and beyond that can get you in some trouble. And what I mean by that is, if I shoot someone and it only takes 2 rounds to stop them, but I empty 12 or 13 rounds into them, that kind of thing. But again, I'd rather be judged by a jury of 12 than carried by peers of 6. So, and again, I'm not perfect. Yeah, exactly, Rabbi. Now, if they leave, yeah, that can, and there's been cases where people chased them out the house and shot them in the back. Say hello to Mrs. Old Soldier.
Hello.
She's working me to death.
No.
Come home with a honeydew list about yay long.
I love you to death.
Yeah, you do that too. But yeah, Greg, you're absolutely right. We work hard for what we have. But like Rabbi was saying, if they're headed out the door, because I know in some states, you shoot them in the back, they're really going to charge you with everything. But at the same token, we have a right to protect ourselves, our families, and our property. Yeah, she is. She's been through thick and thin with me, Rabbi. She stuck with me most of my military career. So she really did sacrifice. You're right too, Jamie. I've got family that have done some shady things. And I don't condone it, but I don't condemn them either. That's court of law to decide. But Rabbi, that's a valid point. Is the property worth shooting somebody over? If it's something I'd say you make your livelihood with, you have to weigh that. And again, I'm not advocating if someone's stealing a TV out of your house, you can blast them. No. Again, you have to weigh each and every situation. But if they come into my house armed, you best bet I'm going to do everything I can to neutralize that. And that's where I need to go back and refresh myself on castle doctrine, especially here in North Carolina. and how it applies. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think somebody said there were some changes to that. Exactly, Rabbi. But then again, they'll come back and say, "Well, you surely had homeowners insurance. What if I do have homeowners insurance? But what if my homeowner insurance dropped me because this has happened twice already, and I can't find a company to cover me?" That's the other thing people don't realize. Not only do you protect your property, but you pay for insurance to reimburse you for these kinds of things. But at some point in time, sometimes insurance companies will limit how much they'll cover you for based on things like that. Well, it may not be a factor in Texas. I'm just saying here in general. In general though, sometimes you have that, but at some point in time, at the end of the day, when things happen, there are some places it's going to cost more to have insurance on your home than it is others. Yeah, and again, Rick, at some point in time, if we're faced with that situation, you the individual have to make that decision based on the circumstances. But again, we all have that right to protect ourselves, our families, and what we've worked hard for. Yeah, and the sad part, Rabbi, is that in other states it's just the complete opposite. I can't remember all the states, but there are certain states that you have a duty to retreat. Well, my whole thing on that is when you retreat into a corner, is it okay to come out swinging at that point in time? There was another one that happened several years ago, 5, 6 years ago. This might have been in Georgia, but the lady was in her corner, had got into a closet in her home, and she had a 38 revolver, 38 special revolver, and she emptied 6 rounds into the assailant. Didn't kill him, but it did stop him. And then there was talk that the assailant was going to try and sue her for excessive force. I think a valid point, Jamie. Human life is of the utmost of value, but I would counter that argument again if you're taking something I use to support my family with. I'll have to make a decision. Do I stop you, or do I try to find another means to replace that? And at the end of the day, all material possessions can be replaced. Human life can't. So that'd be a hard one to think about. In that particular, what I mean, a hard one to think about is if I know I need that to support my family in a moment's thought process, do I engage or do I just let them go get away with it? Because in the long run, that could take food out of my children's mouth. But I pray to God none of us ever have to face that situation. I think I remember reading about that, Rabbi. I think I remember reading about that. Yeah, I've seen those where and again, the duty to retreat obligation. Um, in certain states, that's even applicable in your own house. You know, and again, circumstances being what they might be, what do you do if there's a way out? If someone's running out of your house, they haven't taken anything, or you don't think they've taken anything, or they haven't hurt nobody, but if they come in intent to do you harm and they back you into a corner, we're in that regard, we're like an animal. We're either gonna huddle up and prepare to die, or we're going to come out and fight. And the worst part about it is when you corner somebody, that's when they're the most dangerous because you don't know what they're going to do. I'd hate to have been that police officer, Rabbi. And Jamie, that's very well stated. Train for the worst, but pray for the best. Absolutely. Absolutely. Excuse me. Pinto beans coming back up on me. By the way, Jamie, did you have a Big Mac, cheeseburger? What was your Mickey D's meal? I like the regular cheeseburgers. I'm just curious because when I come in at the end of December, we're going to the varsity, brother. Grab Chico and Kyle, and we'll all go to the varsity. Now, my question is, do they still have a varsity in Marietta? I know they used to. So hopefully they do, because I don't really feel like going to downtown Atlanta to the original. I will if we have to, but I'd rather stay out of downtown Atlanta if we can help it. But we're up to 6 people on the chat. Amazing. Got 4 likes on this thing. Okay, Greg likes double cheeseburger and fries. Awesome. One thing I wish they had here in North Carolina is a Crystal. The nearest Crystal to me, Jamie, is in Franklin, North Carolina. That's the nearest Crystal to me, as far as it being in the state of North Carolina. Actually, the nearest one would be Augusta, because I can get there in about 3.5 hours. But the only one in North Carolina, what I meant to say, is in Franklin, North Carolina. Murphy, North Carolina. Way out on the west side of the state. Quarter pounder and no cheese combo and a regular hamburger. Yes, first. Cool. We'll go to that one when I come into town. If that's all right with you, sir. It had to have been a different Crystal, Rabbi. Ones I'm talking about, little square hamburgers. We call them gut bombs. Some places call them sliders, but if it's a true Crystal, it's a gut bomb. You'll eat them, they go down delicious, and about an hour later, your gut explodes. But it's well worth it. Well worth it. Up north, I think they call them White Castles. That's odd, Kingpin. I'm glad y'all all joined me tonight. It's good to have each and every one of you here on the channel tonight. I've been to Fuddruckers. They got one in there's one in Killeen, Texas I went to one time. It was pretty good. And believe it or not, Killeen, Texas actually has a Crystal. Or did. That's been 2000. That's been 2006 since I ate that one. I had to go out to Fort Hood for 45 days before I went to Iraq on my last tour. And we got a couple times to go off post. And that was the one place I had to go to was Crystal at least once. If I was going to go to Iraq and possibly die, I was going to at least have one more Crystal meal. When I was a kid growing up, especially growing up between Atlanta and Chattanooga, they're all over the place. And when we moved to Chattanooga, when I got into my teenage years, and we all do what teenagers do. In Chattanooga, that was the only place you could go and get something after midnight, because they had started staying open till past midnight. So we go to the midnight matinee and then get out and go get a big old thing of Crystals, and Lord help anybody that came in the bedroom the next morning after those things had set in for a while. Tell y'all a story right quick. Me and my 2 best friends, we were the 3 Bobs, because my first name is Robert, even though I go by my middle name of Lee. Then there was my other 2 best friends. They were both Roberts, but one was Bobby and one was Robbie. And we went out to the midnight movie one night, and after we got out, we went and we got ourselves about 24 Crystals and come home, and we just, between the 3 of us, we polished off 8 Crystals each. That was on a Friday night. Saturday morning, my dad opened my bedroom door because we all went to my house that night and crashed. My daddy opened the door, tell us breakfast was ready before he could finish. All he could say, boys, y'all open the window and close the door and walk right back out. Because somewhere between the hours of 2 in the morning and 7, them crystals kicked in, and we were all just, filling the room full of a nice raunchous aroma. So, because crystals will do that to your intestinal tract, but they're still so good when they go down. I do miss my crystals. Yes, sir, it is, Jamie. I've been downtown where their corporate headquarters is. They used to have one of the original street corner restaurants there, but there was another one. I think one of the oldest one was in Knoxville, Tennessee. And you could go there, and they had the old countertop bar stools where you could sit up, not bar stools, but little countertop stools. But they make a good quick meal. I don't know about. I've only ate White Castle once, and that was up in Nashville, and that's been every bit of 40 years ago. I can't. I know they don't put mustard on them. You get them, and then you have to put your own doctorings on them. Beyond that, it's been so long since I've ate a White Castle. I like crystals because they put that dab of mustard, the pickle, and then finely chopped up onions on them. And now, of course, you can get them as a double crystal. You can get them with cheese, without cheese. I like just the good old plain original crystals all day long, twice on Sunday. I think what was it, Martha Berry Mall over there in Rome, Jamie? Don't they have a crystal near there? It seems like the last time I was there, they did. I sure do. I sure do. That's been. Now I'm really giving away my age, Jamie. But I remember, oh my Lord. Let me think for a second. We used to have one in East Point, Georgia we'd go to. And that was when they got into trying to make fried chicken for a while. Do you remember when Crystal tried to do fried chicken, Jamie? It didn't last long. They went just back to making their little hamburgers. And then I remember they got into trying to make full-size hamburgers too. Oh, come on, Rabbi. You got to give them another try, my friend. What's some of your other favorite restaurants, folks? And if for those that don't know, if you ever go to Atlanta, Georgia, and Jamie will back me up on this, one of the best chili dogs you'll ever eat in your life is if you go by a restaurant called the Varsity. Willie Bullet Man, how are you, my friend? Good to have you with us this evening on the live chat with the old soldier. That's right. That's right, Jamie. I haven't been to that mall in a long time. We used to go there when the kids were little because there was a Toys R Us nearby there. Hello, Linebarger 93. What do you have? That's right. And you can tell them about your trip to the Rome Toys R Us, Linebarger 93. Y'all don't know that's the old soldier's oldest. I'm not sure where he's at, but he's talking to us on the side chat. We're up to 9 whole people tonight. That's awesome. For me, anyway. KB Toys, yeah. But they used to have a Toys R Us in Rome, Georgia that we would take you to when your grandmother was still living in Calhoun. Because I didn't feel like going into Chattanooga. Oh, yeah. Their fries are phenomenal. You can't beat their fries any day of the week. The closest thing I've had to their fries are similar. We got a place here in North Carolina called the Wing Company, and they make their fries very similar, but they're not as good as the Varsity. The Varsity fries are nice and long. Oh my goodness! See, now you're gonna make me try and take a weekend trip to Atlanta. I don't want to go to Atlanta. I've heard In-N-Out's real good too, but I've never been. NY Outcast, how are you, sir? Good to have you with us. We're just talking about hamburgers and other things. Chime in, let us know what your favorite burger joint is. You know, fast food chain or otherwise. Chick-fil-A is good, Greg. I like Chick-fil-A every now and again. I'm not a big fan of Chick-fil-A sandwiches, but I'll eat them every now and again. But trying to think, there used to be one in Atlanta called Steak and Ale. Carl's Jr., Willie, yeah, or Hardee's, either or. Those are good. So I like their new menu change up they've done here recently. We got a restaurant chain here locally where I'm at. It's called Wiener Works, and they make some real good footlongs. Me too, New York Outcast. Me too. But Jamie, do you remember Steak and Ales? I've been to the Sticky Fingers in Chattanooga. It is good. It's real good. I have to check that one out, Willie. Now I've heard of Roy Rogers and the Gold Rush chicken. No worries, New York. Mine does that to me all the time too. Does anybody ever remember a restaurant chain known as Po' Boys? You could sit down and you ordered the meat, and then they'd bring you all the sides that you would want, like mashed taters and corn on the cob and green beans and pinto beans and biscuits. We had one or two in Chattanooga for a while. You get fresh catfish. Good night, Greg. Thanks for joining us, brother. Enjoyed the conversation, my friend. God bless and take care. Holy cow, we're up to 10 people in the chat now. This is awesome. This is awesome. I've got to learn how to invite people. Jamie, you're going to have to tell me how to do that. Yes, Lion Barker 93, Glen Jen Subs in Chattanooga is another good local joint there. Rebel dog, what you doing, boy? Come here. Come here. Get up here. Hop up. Get up here. Come on. Say hello. Come on. Get up here. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. This here's the old soldier's baby right here. Him Papa Boy, weren't you? Hmm? You Papa Boy? Did him walk with Papa today, didn't he? Yes, he did. And I've been to the one, like I said, I've been to one Fudd Records, and that was in Killeen, Texas. And that was a good burger. It really was. Now, New York Outcast. You still reside in the state of New York? You reside elsewhere, sir? No, Jamie, not yet. I've seen where you've been using it. I was going to ask you about that. Does it work pretty good? That's right, Poe folks. They were so poor they couldn't afford the other O or R. There used to be one on, if you went up 75 and got off the East Ridge exit there in Chattanooga, or actually East Ridge because it's its own town, used to be one right there, and they had another one over on the north side of the river in Hickson for a time. But last I heard, they all went out of business. Okay, Willie. Got you, New York. Got you. I'm going to have to download that app and start working with it, Jamie. That way on my Monday nights, I can invite and get a couple, some panel. Because that way I'm not the only one reading poetry to start the Monday night chat off. And for those that missed it, you're going to have to go back and watch when we end this. But we dedicated the first one as a prayer to Master Sergeant Mark Allen, who passed away yesterday. If you don't know or recall, he was a sergeant who went out. He was one of several, but he went out looking for Bo Bergdahl after that deserter left his post and was shot in the head and was disabled from there on out. But he passed away. From what I understand, the services are going to be on the 18th in Loganville, Georgia. And then I read one of my regular poems tonight. Yeah. When I do my live, I always go to my laptop in my office. Yeah, there's some truth about New York being the most taxed state in the U.S. Rabbi, thank you so very much for joining us tonight, sir. You have a blessed evening, my friend. I think everybody's getting a little sleepy. I know it's almost 8 o'clock here in my part of North Carolina. And if you're on the East Coast, or on Eastern Standard Time, I know for some of y'all it's getting ready to get up on your bedtime. And if you're further west, it's coming up on your supper time. But final thoughts, anybody? Because then we're going to close this thing out. But every Monday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, will be poetry, prose, and patriotism with the old soldier. What do y'all think of that as a permanent title for this Monday night shindig? Let me know over in the side chat before we close out. Yes, it does, Willie. It does. And the sad part is, he lived 10 years after that wound. But it basically, he couldn't talk, couldn't walk. But yeah, y'all tell me what you think of that title. Poetry, prose, and patriotism with the old soldier. I want to kind of keep that maybe as the permanent title for this thing on Monday night, but y'all tell me what you think. If you got another idea, put it down in the side chat and let me know. Soldiers' thoughts? That's an idea. Put that into consideration, Jamie. You too, Willie. You too. Okay, thank you, Kingpin. Okay. Jamie says it's kind of long. Okay. Good night, Kingpin. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Yeah, what's it? All right, folks. Gotcha. Oh, after weekend thoughts. Okay, that's the idea, Linebarger 93. All right. Folks, we've been at this for 1 hour and 6 minutes. It has been great. It has been wonderful, and it has been wonderfully great. I appreciate everybody for stopping in this evening. That means more to me than you'll ever know. Yeah, granted, there's at most we only had 10 people tonight, and that's fine. You know, next time maybe we'll have 20, maybe only have 5. But for everybody that stops by, it means more to me than you'll ever know. But hey, Warsaw, you just got here. We're getting ready to sign out, brother. But you can catch everything on the rerun, I guess. But I appreciate everybody coming and stopping in tonight. And again, just take time this week to remember Master Sergeant Allen and his family. And just remember his family, lift them up in prayer, that they'll have strength for the times that they've got coming ahead of them. Because he leaves behind a wife and some beautiful children. So just remember him and his family, and as they lay him to rest this week in eternal peace. But God bless for each and every one of you for stopping in tonight. Hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed talking with each and every one of you in the side chat. So until our next get together next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is the old soldier. God bless. Take care.